In this video, we're doing music copyright law for beginners. We have a lot of people asking us questions about copyrights, and I wanted to just put something together so people can understand what's going on out here. What's up, everybody? It's your main man, Juggernaut of Arkatech Beatz, platinum producers, platinum songwriters, and if it's your first time here, welcome. And today what we want to go over is music copyright law for beginners. So there's a lot of misinformation on the internet about music and copyrights, and what we wanted to do is we just wanted to put together some things, just giving you the history on music copyrights, basically what's protected, what isn't protected, and really just at a high level, just so people can kind of get a basic understanding of what's going on. So what I've done today is I'm going to go over a few things, and what I've done is I put together a few slides so that you can just take a look at it and go along with us and basically just learn music copyright law for beginners. Ready? Let's go. So we want to take a quick look at music copyright law, the quick history of it, right? So when it was first established, it was to protect the printer's interests, and then it later expanded to include the author's rights to their published works. The United States' first copyright law was introduced into 1790, and it was revised to encompass all forms of creative expression, including music, which we're basically talking about for us today, right? So why do we have copyright law? And I think people really want to understand, like, what is it all about? Why do we need to have it? And really, the role of copyright law serves as two primary purposes. First, it grants the creators the power to govern how their original works are used and distributed, right? And then it's enabling them to earn a living off their creations. So when we're talking about copyright, we want to talk about how creators are able to basically distribute their work, get their works published and put out there, and then you can earn money off your works. So that's the first reason why we have the copyright law. And then also the second reason that we have it is to foster learning and culture by inspiring creators to share their work with the world. So what was happening was, when you didn't have these protections in place, people wouldn't share their content, people wouldn't share their art, people wouldn't share their work. So a lot of the copyright laws are really put in place for us to, one, be able to earn off of our stuff, and two, for people to be able to even consume it, so that now the people that are creating it aren't afraid to share it because we do have some legal recourse. So what does music copyright law even protect? All right, so when it comes to music, copyright law protects two things. It protects the musical works. This covers the composition itself, which includes the melody, the harmony, the rhythm, and any lyrics. And then also we're talking about the sound recording, right? This covers the fixed version of your music, like an audio file, MP3, and then that would be on mediums like CD or vinyl record. Now, what we want people to really pay attention to with this is that copyright law only protects the way that you express an idea and not the idea itself. So if you don't take that idea that you have, and if you don't express it, i.e. you don't put it into a tangible form, you can't necessarily protect it, right? You can't protect an idea. You have to be able to put it into some sort of tangible form, or it has to be expressed, either written or put on record or something like that. So you just want to make sure that you're understanding that it only protects the way that you express an idea, but not the idea itself. So now, what's the rights of copyright holders? With copyright law, creators have special rights that allow them to control their work and earn money from it. And this is what we really want people to pay attention to. You really want to be in a situation where you understand that you can earn money from your copyrighted works, right? So there are 5 ways that you can do that. The first one is going to be reproduction. Is making copies of the work that you put out. Distribution, selling or sharing copies of any of your work. Public performance, playing the work in maybe say a concert or on the radio. Public display, showing your work in public, like projecting lyrics on the screen during a concert. And then derivative works, which is basically creating new work based on the original, like remixes and or samples, right? So those are the rights of copyright holders, and I'll leave that on the screen for you to take a look at for a little while, right? Now, how long does copyright protection last? And in the United States, for works created after January 1 of 1978, copyright protection generally lasts for the life of the author plus an additional 70 years. So For sound recordings, it's 95 years from the date of the publication or 120 years from the date of creation, whichever is shorter. Now, this is the part where a lot of people kind of get hung up on, right? You have to register your copyright in order to enforce your copyright. This is the main thing. You have protection if you don't register it, but you can't really enforce your copyright, which is you can't sue if you don't basically register your copyright. Now, while your work is automatically protected when you create it, registering for copyright gives you additional benefits. Now, registration serves as a public record of your copyright claim and is required if you want to have a lawsuit for copyright infringement. And of course, you can get more information on that at www.copyright.gov. And I'll give you a little personal experience with this. Is that if we had a record that again was unauthorized for use, and when we went to basically to tell the label, hey, we want that record to get taken down, the label said, hey man, prove that you own it. So we had to go get that copyright registration, and we had to prove that. And once we showed them that we had the registration for that copyright, the label was a lot more receptive. But they're not willing to do anything if they know that you don't have a copyright file. So you have to make sure that you're doing that. International copyright protection. Copyright protection isn't just limited to your home country. International agreements and treaties extend protection into other countries as well. And, of course, if you want more information on that, we definitely want to go to the copyright.gov website. Fair use and copyright protection exceptions. Now, while copyright law gives creators exclusive rights, it also allows for some exceptions. And the fair use doctrine allows others to use your copyrighted material in certain situations like criticism, commentary, teaching, and research. And I think you see this as a common theme like on YouTube or TikTok or a lot of other content creators, where people take an excerpt of someone else's copyrighted work. Maybe it might be a podcast excerpt or it might be a part of a news clip. And then what they have to do is they have to insert a certain level of commentary, so forth and so on, in order for you to basically create a new work, and that can be deemed as fair use. Another right is moral rights. Moral rights basically protect non-economic interests of creators, including the right to be identified as the author and the right to prevent harmful modifications to the work. Right? Understanding the music copyright law is very crucial for making sure when you're creating and distributing music, protecting the work, and then navigating in the industry. So again, when we talk about these moral rights, we're talking about basically making sure that you'll be able to be identified as the author. And then if people make some sort of modification to the work that you're not really good with, you can always have the protections against that and have that removed. Now, of course, if you want to explore more about music copyrights, you can take a deeper look and the deeper dive. We have a book out, which is The Musician's Guide to Music Copyrights. Right, this guide will basically give you a step-through-step guide through the complex landscape of the music copyright. So if you want more information, this book is available at arkatechbeatz.com and on Amazon if you like. And I wanted to just give you a few more practical tips for when you're applying copyright law to your music career. Always register your music, right, with the appropriate copyright office for maximum protection. I cannot stress this enough. We wrote another book on this called the Songwriter's Guide to Song Registration, and we talk about this at length, making sure that you're registering your songs with the copyright office. We need you to familiarize yourself with the concept of fair use and understanding when and how it applies, so that you don't get yourself caught out there using somebody else's work and then trying to say that it's fair use. Remember, copyright only protects protects the expression of an idea, not the idea itself. So your unique spin on a common theme is protected. Understand the difference between copyright in a song, the musical work, and in a recording that's a song recording, are two separate rights, right? So you have a musical work and then the recording of that song is two different things. Those are two separate rights. So I need you to understand the difference between the copyright of a song as a musical work, which is written out, and then the recording of that song, which is a sound recording. And then if you're a band, ensure that you have basically clear agreements with who distributes what or who contributed to what, so that you can avoid any songwriter disputes later on. And we also did an episode on our podcast with regard to songwriter splits. So if you need more information on that, make sure you just check on our podcast, and you can see more information on that as far as making sure that you're protecting yourself if you have more people on a song. So basically, now that you're aware of the rights and how to enforce them, you need to empower yourself and basically give yourself as much knowledge as you can on music copyright law. It may be complicated at first, but remember, your creative work is very, very valuable. You want to make sure that you are protecting these things. You want to make sure that you're doing your best to get them protected. All right. So I want to thank everybody for really just learning about music copyright law with us today. You know, again, if you want more information on the situation in terms of music copyright, okay, again, like I said, we have This Is Out Right Now, which is the musician's guide to music copyrights. So, you know, you can pick that up at arkatechbeatz.com, or you can grab that on Amazon. And I hope that we answered any questions for you as it relates to music copyright. Like I said, it was high level for beginners. And basically, I want you guys to go out there, make sure you're registering your songs for your protection. And if you have any questions, hit us in the comments and we'll reply and we'll answer any questions that you might have. Until next time, peace.